Boys and girls, today we're gonna do something special. I'm gonna dial in 2 guitar tones for you. One beautiful, one ugly. Then I'm gonna melt them together into hopefully one great sounding wall of sound. And you know what? To make this a little more challenging, I'm gonna do the whole thing in the box, inside Cubase. And I'm only gonna use one plugin. Actually, a plugin that will cost you $43. So I'm only going to use one plugin, no additional EQ, dynamics, other plugins, processing whatsoever. One plugin for both guitar tones. Amazing, right? So let's dial in some brutal guitar tones, some world-class sounding guitar tones for $43. Here we go. Let me say a few words about the plugin that I'm about to use. It's maybe not what you expect, but I like trying the more exotic stuff. I'm talking about Amp Room from Softube, the Swedish company Softube. I have been using a lot of their plugins over the years in my productions, and Softube make great stuff. But especially the Softube amp simulations, to my ears, sound fantastic and very realistic. They don't do like a lot of modern high gain stuff, but please check out their Marshall amp sims. They just sound and feel so good. The Silver Jubilee, the Kerry King signature, and the Lemmy bass amp. I did a video about that one. I'll put a link here, the Lemmy bass amp. They all sound fantastic. And today I'm gonna use Amp Room. It includes a lot of pedals, amps, cabs, and a lot of stuff. You can compare it to something like Amplitube, And Softube are releasing the new version today, which is free for existing users. And they have finally included an IR player, which makes it so much cooler. So you can load your own IRs. And to make the release even more sexy, they have included several producer packs, IR packs. And guess who did one of those producer packs? Yes, so we've included some of the coolest sounding IRs from my Bogren Digital Rainbows and Chainsaws IR pack. And another pack comes from Tue Madsen, great sounding IRs. And then there's a few others, I think 6 or 7 different producers did IR packs. And you all, they're all included now. And yeah, today, of course, I'm gonna use my own IRs inside Amp Room to dial in those tones. All right, so there's a link below to Amp Room. Currently, Softube have their Black Friday sale, and the plugin is $43, including a lot of amps and pedals and cabs, and the new IR player, and some IRs from Kristian Kohle and Tue Madsen. Fantastic. By the way, if you click that link and buy that plugin, I'm not getting anything for it, okay? Nothing for me. I just want to make you feel happy. One more thing, you can download the presets that I'm dialing in today. There's a link below to my email list. If you subscribe to my email list now, you can download the presets, throw them into Amp Room, and get exactly the tones I'm dialing in this video. So that was a lot of talking. Let's move on and do some chuga chuga. Here we go. All right, so let's load up Amp Room, and this is what it looks like. I'm going from my, can you see it? Fernandez Ravel baritone guitar with EMG pickups into my Cranborn DI, which sounds like this. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna dial in 2 guitar tones. I wanna have one beautiful and one ugly sounding and blend them together. That is the idea. That's something I do very often in my production. And I wanna start with what I call a standard modern high gain tone. Just a very nice, round sounding, aggressive high gain tone. And I need a very modern sounding amp for that. And let's see what we got. We got a rectifier here, Ampac, high watt. Here we got some Marshalls, but that's not modern enough today. And this looks like an Engel amp, and then we've got 2 Fenders. So let's start with this one. This looks like either a Powerball or a Fireball, and the graphics look beautiful, I gotta say that. And it sounds like this. Yeah, we need a cab. And I think if you go here, if you go here to the cab section, you see we got a lot of different cabinets. But right here at the end, we got the new IR player. So let's put it here after the amp. And if you click the little F down here, you see that? You can see all the producer packs. And here's the Kristian Kohle pack. And you see it includes quite a few of my IRs. And since I know them, I'm gonna start with this one, which is the Italian Electric Summer Night Mid Bliss. I don't remember which speakers, but Italian, that means it's a Jensen speaker, an electric, I'm pretty sure it's an electric Lightning from Jensen, maybe blended with something else. I don't know, but let's start with that one because that is a pretty good, like middle of the road sounding IR. Okay, let's tweak the amp a little bit. What do we have here? Oh wow, I've never heard so much low end coming from an Engel Fireball or Powerball. It looks like... I should check out the new generation because the old one sounded terrible. But this gotta be tighter, so I definitely need some kind of boost before the amp. Here we got the pedals. Let's see what we got. Tube Screamer would be the obvious choice. And that makes it so much tighter. What else do we have? We have pretty much everything you need. TC boost. There's a clean boost. Oh wow, we got a rat pedal. And the Governor. The Governor from Marshall. That's such a cool pedal. And it can be used as a boost as well. It's not gonna add that typical Tube Screamer honk honk honk, and it's gonna sound a little thicker. And this is how you dial it in. Just adds that touch of grind and it just cleans up the low end in a nice way. Without making it too honk 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 sounding. I'm still not entirely happy with the low end, and maybe we should have a little less gain. And a little more grind, but I feel if I add this, it gets too nasty. Okay, I want to add two things. First of all, I need a low cut. Isn't there something like, yeah, look at this, beautiful low cut. Right after the IR. And this will sit a lot better in a mix. And now we're getting closer to a produced tone. Nice. I want to have a little more grind. And one thing that I really like about Softtube and Amp Room is that if you own any other Softtube plugins, I don't know if all of them, but most of them, they will just appear inside Amp Room. Just look over here. So for example, I own the Abbey Road EQ, the Brilliance pack here, or here you can see the Empirical Labs mic E compressor. So you can just throw in any studio plugin somewhere into your guitar chain, which is really, really cool. So for example, let's use the Abbey Road, this thingy here, to add some more grind. Beautiful. Do we have another, like a full EQ? Ah, here's an American Class A API EQ. Do we have an EQ pedal? Here we go. Tighten this a little more here. Okay, and this sounds good enough for me now. This is like a pretty typical, pretty standard tight and aggressive modern high gain tone, I want to start with that. Of course, we have to put it into a mix and fine tune it later. But for now, I'm happy with this after the first sound check. So this is our beautiful tone. Maybe I can show you some of the other IRs now. So for example, KOHLE Chainsaw Bliss. This gives you an instant HM2 feel. This IR is worth $43 alone. Transatlantic Thickness is like a darker sounding fatter IR. But here I prefer the very mid-forward sounding Italian electric whatever. Great tone. Okay, let's move on and let's dial in the dirty tone. So what I want to do now is I want to have a totally different distortion to blend it with our very tight and clean first tone. So that means let's remove the Emil Amp and yeah, let's remove those plugins as well. We can bypass this one. I'm sure I'm going to need a low cut later. And let's see what we got. I think I want to have like an extremely dirty, fuzzy distortion or something that clearly is different from that modern high gain tone. And I don't think any of the amps is going to give us that kind of distortion, so we got to use a pedal. So we could use the Kraft, the red pedal. Do we have a fuzz? This here, soft tube, whatever, fuzz. What about that one? Turn off the governor. Let's listen to the fuzz. Oh wow, that's straight into an IR. Nice. Interesting, already interesting, but of course it sounds like a pedal, you know, we need an amp. And maybe we also need a different IR, but for now I wanna stay here. What could we use? There was here. We got this high watt amp, which is known to be a great pedal platform. Let's have a listen. Yeah, that's better. But it still sounds not really like an amp. I don't know. It just sounds a little pedalish. Is that a word? So maybe we should play this into something else. What about a Marshall here? What do we have? The Beast. That is a great sounding amp. The Kerry King signature. But here we got a standard 800. I think that's going to work. That's going to sound very different and very nasty. Let's try. Yeah. What you got to do is this. Ooh. Great overall attitude, but way too much gain. But I had to crank the preamp here to make it sound full. And listen to this. This is exactly how an amp sounds, power amp, if you fully crank it. You know, it just gets those, it sounds like a telephone. Distorted mids and no real lows anymore, no real highs. It's just modeled very accurately. Okay, so we gotta tame the low end and play around with the gain controls. Let's see. You always got to find the right level between a pedal and the amp. Like, depending on how hard you drive the amp, it can totally change the tone. You see, if I go here, it suddenly gets too thin. And here it's fine, so I can go down a little bit to reduce the noise. But not lower than that. So let's add the governor again. Oh yeah. Now it gets tighter and more usable. Let's see how much fuzz we want. If you crank it, you get that super broken low end. Let's try this. Whoa. And if you blend guitars, something like this is actually a cool effect. I want to try this later. Maybe this can give our modern tone just the right touch of it needs. Okay, two more things. Let's try a thicker sounding IR. Yeah, let's use that one. That just sounds a little more classic. It just suits the distortion. And I also need the low cut filter, so where do we have it? Let's reactivate the low cut filter. Nice, thick, and dirty. So you see, now we have a totally different type of distortion, like a fuzzy, yet tight enough. Distortion that gives us a totally different texture. And the idea I have in mind is that if we blend this with the tight angle distortion, you know, we have best of both worlds and can come up with something that sounds big and unique. All right. So let's try to combine those two tones. We are using the infamous Grindstein song for this. So that means we got two pairs of rhythm guitars playing exactly the same thing. They're both panned left and right. So on the first pair of rhythm guitars, we will have the angle tone. And on the second one, we will have our dirty fuzzy tone. And then I will fine tune them a little bit so they sound great together. Let's do that now. All right, so here we are in Cubase, and this is like a pretty simple setup. We got some programmed drums, we got a bass guitar, and then we got one pair and another pair of rhythm guitars panned left, right. So the first pair is our beautiful pair, which can be pink, and it goes to a group called Beautiful, where we have amp room, and then we have DI 3 and 4, which is going to a group called Ugly. Maybe we should give them another color. Let's make it more ugly, whatever. Green. So the guitars are turned off now. This is what the playback sounds. Not a final mix, but it sounds pretty nice. So let's get started. Let's try guitar tone 1. So this is amp room with exactly the preset that we just used. And now we got to switch the input of amp room to stereo, which is so cool that you can do that. So you only need one plugin on a group for 2 guitars. And that sounds good. Let's turn this on in the mix. Wow. Sounds better than expected. I don't think I want to change anything here. Maybe let's just try to make it a little brighter. That could be an option, but I will keep it like that for now. I'm happy. I didn't expect that. I was ready to do some fine tuning. But let's listen to our second guitar tone. So this is the ugly group. We gotta switch to, oops, to stereo again. And this sounds really thick and slimy, right? So let's add this to our existing guitar tone. And this is nice. This thickens the whole thing and gives it like a slightly crusty feel. And by blending those two tones, we can now decide how much of that slimy crust we want. Nice. But maybe we want to have a little more. First thing I want to try is the octave switch here. You hear that? That gives us like an HM2 feel on the palm mutes. I mean, now the palm mutes sound really broken, but it gives us that 1K chainsaw, you know, feel. Maybe we can bring the fuzz a little bit back here. But how cool is that? You just change one parameter, and then that additional slimy guitar tone turns from a like thick lava-esque kind of thing to a mid-forward sounding chainsaw-ish thingy, which just, I don't know, works equally great. I'm pretty sure alone it sucks. Awesome. Or let's try another IR on this one. Let's go back here and we try the Chainsaw Bliss. And that pushes the guitars up and gives them more grind and more attack around like 2-3K. But then it sounds really broken. So if you want that, you can just do that by changing the IR. You know, that's how you create big guitar tones. Now we have found 3 options already. You know, we started with this one, the Transatlantic Thickness IR with a lot of fuzz, which just thickens things and gives us a touch of that slimy crust, especially in the palm mutes. Or we can bring back the fuzz distortion and switch this one to have a more 1K HM2-ish feel. Or we use the Chainsaw Bliss IR and have more aggressive upper mids. But all those 3 tones work to make our initial good sounding, but maybe a little boring sounding high gain guitar tone coming from the angle more interesting. And this is how you make interesting sounding records, okay? Okay, but let's go back to our initial sound. Here we are. I might want to add a little EQ to that, and then I'm happy. Let's have a listen. Let's try the American Class A EQ. Yeah, cleans up the lower mids a little bit. Very effective EQ, great. Let's have another listen. And here's our final guitar tone, boys and girls. I mean, that's one plugin, it's $43. And if you know what you're doing, and if you have an idea about what you want, it can be that easy. All right, boys and girls, so get Amp Room. It's a great software. It looks great, it feels great, it has a lot of options. It's $43 right now. Get it. As you've heard, it includes some of my IRs. Enjoy using my IRs. If you like them, do me a favor and check out my Bogren Digital Rainbows and Chainsaws pack, and also check out the other Bogren Digital products. They're all great. So my IR pack there consists of very different sounding IRs, from very beautiful to extremely ugly. You've seen it. And right now I'm gonna do 3 or 4 presets that you can download for free. All you gotta do is subscribe to my email list below and follow the instruction. It will guide you to my Discord server where you get all my free stuff. There are other free IRs and multitracks and presets and a lot of other cool stuff on my Discord server. If you want to learn more about dialing in guitar tones, about producing records, about making great sounding metal productions, check out the link below to my academy, KOHLE Audio Kult, which is the coolest place the internet has to offer. It's my academy where we offer tons and tons of courses where you can learn how to record, produce, mix and master all kinds of heavy music. We got a lot of courses about dialing in guitar tones. You can download multi-tracks and have a lot of fun. And of course, it's a great community. And you can get in touch with me, you can get my feedback on your mixes or ask questions and stuff like that. So check out KOHLE Audio Kult if you want to learn something about making great sounding metal records. And what else? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, please, right? And ring the bell, ding dong. I think that's all for today. Make some metal, everybody. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.